Hi, I'm Adrien. I'm an engineer working on the custom crawler here at Algolia, and today we're going to introduce what the crawler is and how it works. When you want to use Algolia for your search, one first step that everybody has to go through is to populate their indices, meaning that you have to tell Algolia what data do you want to make searchable. There are several ways to do that. Either you will program a way to talk to the API of Algolia, or you can use an integration from e-commerce websites, or you can use the crawler. The crawler is a way to populate your index by crawling your website. In order to do that, you're going to have to go through two steps. The first one is to configure the crawler in order to explain how to crawl the website, what information to extract from which part of every page. That's going to be a technical part, and somebody who knows how to program with JavaScript is going to be required for that task. When that is done, you can use the dashboard that we created to know how the crawling went and to identify any problem that may have appeared while crawling your website. First, let's go through the configuration of the crawler. In order to do that, you're gonna click on the Edit Configuration button. When you click on that button, you arrive on a page where you see some JavaScript code, and this is where you define what you need to crawl. So this is the URL where we will start from. And from there, the crawler will go through all the links that are found. You can also decide to exclude some of the path. Here, I'm going to start with a very slow crawling rate. So I'm going to start with 4 pages per second max. And I will stop after the 21st URLs that were crawled because I'm iterating on the configuration. I will remove it when it's ready for production. The most important part of the configuration is what we call the actions. In actions, you define perimeters of your website that you want to extract data from. Here, in this case, we're going to explore 4 different patterns of URLs, and we're going to use the user's index as the destinations of the records we're going to build out of these pages. The thing that we need to provide for the website is a JavaScript function that will need to return a set of Algolia records. Here, for example, I'm creating an Algolia record that has an object ID, which will contain the URL of every page that was crawled. The name is going to be the name of the user profile that was extracted from the website. And then page views is going to be some analytics metrics that are extracted from Google Analytics. And we will talk about that later. The rest of this function is completely up to you. You can select what you want to extract depending on the type of page, etc. In order to fetch analytics from Google Analytics, you will also have to provide the credentials to your Google Analytics account. And you do that through the external data sources parameter. In there, you can set up one or many Google Analytics accounts, and you can select what metrics do you want to track and integrate into your Algolia records. When you're done configuring your website for the crawler, you can go back to the overview page and you can restart your config. By doing this, the crawler will refetch all the information from Google Analytics or any external data source that you may have set, and then it will recrawl all the pages. When the crawling is done, you can use several tabs to see how the crawling went. The URL inspector is a way to see the status of every web page. For example, you can see that some of the pages were done and some data was extracted from it, whereas some other URLs were skipped. This could be because there was a redirect code on that page. The monitoring tab gives you a bird's eye view of all the successes and statuses of crawling the website. For example, you see that 15 URLs were successful to be crawled and 5 URLs were redirects to other pages. In the Data Analysis tab, you will be able to check your index for inconsistencies. For example, you will be able to see if one of your attributes is missing data for some of your pages. In the Path Explorer tab, you'll be able to see how many records were extracted from every part of your website. Here, for example, we see that the /u path, which corresponds to user profiles, resulted in 8 records that were indexed. in the external data tab, you can see what analytics were fetched from Google Analytics. And for each of them, you can see the number of page views or whatever metrics were extracted from Google Analytics. When the crawling of your website is done, you can see from the overview page the number of URLs that were crawled and the number of records that were extracted from these pages. If you click on the index, it will bring you back to Algolia dashboard, where you can see that it was fully populated by the crawler, and you see every record matches one of the pages that were crawled by the crawler. And you see all the user profiles with the page views that are ready to be used, for example, for a custom ranking formula. That's it. I hope that you're as excited as us about the possibilities of this product and the degree of flexibility it gives to turn your website into a properly searchable website.